Alright guys, in today's video we are once again going to be discussing the PlayStation 5, but we are not going to be going over any rumors or leaks or anything like that. There will be a little bit of speculation in this video because Sony has been completely silent when it comes to the PlayStation 5, and that's actually what the focus of this video is going to be about, is why Sony is being so silent and how much longer they plan on being silent, because people are very eager to learn more about the PlayStation 5 and fans are extremely excited. And I know that the leaks and the rumors and everything we've been covering here, maybe it's getting a little bit out of hand, and I think people tend to forget that I am in the same boat as you guys. I want official information. People seem to get very mad at me and very frustrated that I'm making these videos covering this stuff. I don't really understand that. I mean, you don't have to consume the content if it really upsets you that much. But it seems like a lot of people are interested. And when I say interested, you can tell that they are very much excited and interested to learn more about Sony's upcoming console. And so that's what I want to talk about today. But before going any further, I do want to let everybody know that I will be doing the second episode of the Press X podcast. Yes, I did rename it, and we're going to talk more about that when we actually do the podcast. It will be this Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. That's when I plan to do this podcast, and I do plan to do it on a weekly basis. So it will be live, but you will also be able to watch it after the fact. And I do plan on having my first guest, which will be actually one of my personal friends. And it will just kind of be like a test podcast, I guess, to see if it adds a new dynamic and a different layer to it, because as much as I would like to do a one-person podcast, it is pretty difficult, and I know that it's not too much different than my regular content, so we'll test that out and see how it goes. So again, if you're interested, this Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, it will be live, Press X podcast. Hopefully I will see you guys there, and if you could, be sure to leave a like on this video as well if you think you're going to enjoy it. But getting into the topic at hand here, I've seen people really getting very antsy and very, I guess we could say they're losing their patience when it comes to Sonys Silence. And this is an interesting scenario because I don't think we've seen Sony be this quiet for this long, where they haven't had any big events, they haven't had any major presence. Well, maybe that's not fair. Sony has certainly proven that they can still have a major presence without having any big events or anything like that, but I think this is the first time we're seeing Sony just kind of, really go this long without really having anything big, right? And so we are now approaching the very end of January, and we still haven't heard anything, and it's calling into question whether or not Sony is actually going to be having this event in February. Is Sony potentially not going to have the PlayStation 5 reveal event in February? Will it end up being later, maybe in March, April, or even May? Well, I don't have answers for you, but I do just want to talk about what I think is going to happen, and obviously whatever does happen, I will be immediately updating all of you on the channel here, because people really are getting tired of all the leaks and the rumors, and I'm there with you. I don't mind covering them or talking about them on the channel. I mean, in fact, statistically speaking, me talking about this stuff, people, are showing a lot of interest, and, it's hard for me to avoid talking about it frequently because people are showing up for it and they are interested. And, I'm at a point where I do believe that Sony is, in fact, going to be having this event in February. I don't really see any way around it. I honestly do believe that if Sony goes the entirety of February without making some type of major announcement in regards to the PlayStation 5, then fans are going to get really frustrated. And I think it could actually work against Sony. I mean, there is a point where you can only be silent for so long to where people are like, what is going on here? And I honestly believe that the further we go into February without Sony saying anything, the more potential it has to actually backfire on them. That's not to say that once they do finally announce it, once they do show off the PS5, that everybody's going to be angry about it. No, it's just, fans need something. And You see just how aggressive Microsoft is being with their next generation Xbox, and we know that Sony's going to be aggressive. There's some people who believe that because Sony hasn't announced anything more official yet, because they haven't been nearly as aggressive, they take this as a sign that, well, people should temper their expectations and not expect Sony to do much or be able to match what Microsoft's doing. I personally don't have that feeling at all. I have the exact opposite feeling. I think that there is a very good reason Sony is being as quiet as they are, and it's because they know that the longer they remain quiet, if they truly do have some big things to show, which I believe they do, they know it's going to resonate just that much more. That's going to make even that bigger of a bang, I guess you could say. And, I think people forget that when you look back at 2013, when Sony did their PlayStation 4 event in New York, I believe it was announced on January 31st that is when they were doing it. And then it happened, I think, like a week and a half, 2 weeks later, I believe, something along those lines. I don't have the exact date in front of me, but I do know that January 31st is when they either put out the invitations or just made everybody aware of the fact that this was something that was happening. Now, maybe tomorrow, that's exactly what we could see happen. We could see a situation where maybe Sony is planning on doing the exact same thing. And when I say exact, I mean exact same thing that they did back in 2013 with the PS4, with the PS5, because it worked out very well for them. I will say that when we do see this event, when we do have this event, I would be extremely surprised if Sony did what they did in 2013 and just showed off the controller and not the box. Now, I do want to say there is a possibility they could do that. I don't think that would be smart. I think it would be smart of them to make sure they show off the box at that time if they're able to, because, again, their main competition, that being Microsoft, already did show off their box. And so a lot of people are going to be, I think, very, very annoyed if Sony actually has this event and just shows off the controller. Although, I think we are very excited for the controller as well. But I guess what this is ultimately coming down to is, and what I'm trying to get at in this video, is that for those of you who are feeling a little bit antsy and a little bit maybe even annoyed at the fact that Sony's being as quiet as they are, and those of you who believe at this point for some reason that this is a clear sign the PS5 is going to be delayed, or this event is going to be like, not till around E3, I can't say definitively what Sony is going to do. However, I would say pay attention to what we talked about the other day, where Sony did trademark the PlayStation 5. And if I'm not mistaken, the last time this happened, I don't have the information in front of me. I'm pretty sure I read it, though, recently, and hopefully I'm relaying this correctly. I believe back in 2013, Sony filed the trademark for the PS4 the day before either the event itself or when they announced the event was happening. So I would say if there's anything officially that has happened recently, putting aside all the leaks, putting aside all the rumors, putting aside all the speculation, I would just say that if you are looking for a hint directly from Sony that tells you that it is going to be happening sooner rather than later, that is probably the biggest hint so far. That, and also them revealing the logo early in January back at CES. I think people are not realizing that this was something that was done intentionally, and it's to slowly build up that excitement. I think Sony is well aware that if they were to reveal the logo in January and then just not talk about the PlayStation 5 at all for the entirety of February, that would not be a good look for them. If I had to make an assumption, and this is where I'm going to end the video, I think Sony has a plan to acknowledge and talk about the PlayStation 5 to some capacity every single month this year until it launches. And then obviously they're going to constantly talk about it after it launches. But that's what I think. I think Sony has a very particular, very well thought out, very well mapped out marketing plan with the PlayStation 5. And I think it started last year, obviously, with the Wired articles, but I think it officially started this year in January when they revealed the logo at CES. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe the only reason they revealed the logo was because they felt pressure from Microsoft, because Microsoft revealed a lot more about the next Xbox at the Game Awards. That could be why, but I have a feeling they, plan to do that the entire time, and that every single month is going to be something about the PlayStation. And I think in February, at some point, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I would be pretty shocked at this point if we didn't get a major event from Sony in February. But I think that's where it's really going to start. And once they kick it off with that big event, it's going to be amazing, first of all. I mean, I'm still just as excited for it. I do have my expectations tempered, but frankly, there's really not much Sony could do in regards to the PS5 that would leave me even remotely disappointed. They would have to go pretty out of their way to make that happen, actually. But I have this good feeling that it's going to happen in February. They just trademarked the PS5 again, and it's good from 2020 all the way through to 2030. So they're covering themselves there, and I just have a good feeling about it. And so I just wanted to have this conversation because obviously, guys, the conversation surrounding the PS5 is not slowing down. It's not stopping. And I can't sit here and make any promises and say I'm not going to cover any more leaks or any more rumors, because I'm just not going to say that, because I don't know what's going to come out. What I will say is I will try my best going forward to just try to only talk about things that really seem like they are coming from credible sources, because I think the most critical feedback I've gotten so far is that people are getting a little bit annoyed at the fact that a lot of the information I'm relaying, we really don't, like, it's so up in the air. It's not coming from even, what some people consider even remotely credible sources, and I can understand how that's a little bit annoying. But again, I'm just trying to keep the conversation going. 2020 is going to be a big year, and it's a big year for PlayStation and its fans, and so I'm just trying my best to keep the hype and excitement going without getting people too hyped up. But yeah, I just wanted to have this conversation, and so that's going to do it for the video. Let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. Do you think we really are going to be getting this event in February? And let me know specifically what you think about Sonys Silence, and whether or not you're somebody who's completely okay with it, or whether you're somebody who's actually getting a little bit annoyed with it, and being combined with all of these leaks and rumors. Just let me know your thoughts about it down in the comments below. Again, I just want to say at the end here, another reminder, Press X podcast happening this Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I hope to see you guys there. Be sure to leave this video a like if you did enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and haven't already. Hit the bell notification icon so you never miss an upload, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.